Custom Tables allows you to create and track records outside the normal contact, company, and opportunity paradigm. And you can even create reports and graphs to show this information in an organized and clean display. In this video, I want to show you how to create charts in Custom Tables. To start, I'm going to look at my insurance table. So I'm going to click that from the left navigation, and this gives me a list view of all of my insurance records. I have over 90 records on this list, and I would like to display a pie chart of the different insurance policies for my contacts. So I'm going to click the Chart button in the top menu. This launches the Chart Wizard. From here, I can choose either Key Performance Indicators or Graphs. I'm going to start by looking at a graph, and I'll click Next. Let's look at each of these 4 sections on the screen. For the graph style, I'm going to choose a pie chart. In the legend position, this just says where the legend should appear on the graph, so I'll put it over to the left. For the x-axis, I want to count by plan type. So in this drop-down, I'm going to choose plan type. And then for the y-axis, I have to choose what I'm doing. Well, I've already said I want to count the number of records by plan type, so I'm going to leave this as count. And now I'm going to click Finish to generate the pie chart. Notice now that the legend appears on the left as I've instructed it to do. And maybe I've made a mistake somewhere and I want to really tweak this pie chart. Instead of counting the plan types, maybe I want to change that. So in the argument field at the top, I can choose something different from the dropdown. This time I'm going to choose, instead of plan type, I'm going to choose carrier. And then click Refresh. This changes my pie chart and now it's counting carriers. In the middle at the top, you can use the appearance area if you'd like to change the colors of your chart. First, use this palette dropdown to choose one of the palettes on this list. And then over on the right, use this double down arrow to see every option from this list of palettes. As you click the different presets, you'll see that your palette will change. If you really want to fine-tune every little aspect of this chart, you can click the Chart Designer button at the top, and this will open up the Chart Designer screen. On the left, you can select what you want to edit, whether it's the diagram, the legend, the chart labels, or you can even add titles and annotations to the chart. On the right, you can use this Options tab to choose different preset values, or you can switch to the Properties tab for full customization over everything that you see. Once you're satisfied with all of your changes, click OK, and those changes will be saved to your current chart. You can also export this chart or even save it as a template if you'd like to generate it again in the future. So in the top left, switch from the Design tab to the Export tab, and then you can use these 3 buttons on the left if you want to print your chart or save your chart to share it with others. Click the Save as Template button if you want to reuse this color scheme and layout again in the future. What if you want to create a KPI report and not a chart? Well, I'm going to switch over to my mortgages table now to do just that. Again, I'll click the Chart button to launch the Chart Wizard, and instead of choosing a graph, I'm going to choose a KPI, or Key Performance Indicator. Now I'll click Next, and now I have to decide if I want to create a new KPI or just edit an existing one. I will create a new KPI and then click Next. Now we have to decide between a simple or a complex KPI. Simple uses only one KPI field. Complex KPIs can use an additional field and then can create cross-tab reports. So I'll start with a simple KPI for now. And then in the KPI drop-down field, I'm going to choose Lender. Now since I'm using a simple KPI, this second field, the column field, is grayed out. We won't be using that. Now I have to decide what info I want to show. And what I want to see is an average of the payment amount. So for function, I'm going to choose average. And then for summary field name, I'm going to locate payment amount. And now I'll click Next. And this generates the KPI report. From here, I can export this report using the Export button to save it as a CSV file, Excel file, or PDF. I can also email this directly from this screen using the Email button. And finally, if I know I will need to run this report again in the future, I would want to click the Save button to preserve these KPI settings. The last thing I want to do here is go back and choose a complex KPI report. So once again, I'm going to click the Chart button, and I'll choose KPI and click Next. I'm going to create a new KPI, and this time, instead of choosing simple, I'm going to choose complex. Again, in the KPI field, I'll choose lender, and now I need to select something in the column field. Let's choose frequency to show the payment intervals as separate columns. Again, I'm going to choose the average and payment amount, just so that this report is similar to the previous simple one that I created. Now I'll click Next to run this KPI just like before. And now you can see how a complex KPI report can deliver the same data, but it breaks it down with an additional level of specifics to give you a fresh new perspective.